Our verse today is Isaiah 49 verse 1. Listen to me, O coastlands, and give attention, you peoples from afar. The Lord called me from the womb, from the body of my mother, he named my name. Isaiah 49 begins what is commonly referred to as the second seven songs in the book of Isaiah. The first seventh song can be found in Isaiah 42 1 to 9. Each of these songs describes the mission and the identity of the servant of the Lord, which can sometimes refer to Israel, a prophetic figure, or even the anticipated Messiah. Let us not forget that this chapter addresses the exiled people who feel that God has abandoned them. They are living in a foreign land in Babylon and think that God has forgotten them. However, this chapter reassures them of God's presence and affirms that God has appointed his servant. Our verse today is one of assurance. Listen to me, O coastlands, and give attention, you peoples from afar. The first word, Shim. The first word, Shimu, the plural imperative of the verb shama, means listen, heed, obey, understand, or examine. The prophet says to the people, Shimu, calling them to pay attention, listen, and obey what is conveying, what he is conveying to them. The Hebrew word iyim refers to the coast, islands, or the Phoenicians, also known as the Canaanites, the Semitic speaking people who lived in the coastal cities like Tyre and Sidon, present-day Lebanon. And then the peoples who are far off. In other words, the servant in this message is addressing not just Israel, but the entire world, calling their attention to listen. What was the message for the whole world? The Lord called me from the womb, from the body of my mother, he mentioned my name. To call in Hebrew, kara, also means to give a name, invoke, or summon. This servant was called and given a name by God from his mother's womb. Here we have a divine calling and assignment. Calling from his mother's womb also highlights that God has power over every human being and knows our end from the beginning. The last part of the verse says, from the body of my mother, he named my name. In the literal Hebrew translation, it stays, from the bowel, the internal organs of my mother, he zakar me. Zakar means to remember, mention, make known, or announce. Therefore, we can say that from the womb, God already had a purpose or destiny for him. Each person is distinct and remembered by God as individuals. We are not anonymous in the eyes of God. No one is merely a number before God. Each has an identity and a name, and that name is special and unique. With that name, God assigns each person a task to accomplish in the world. This servant in the songs tells the whole world that he has a mission to fulfill, which has been given to him by God before his birth. Each of us has been called by God before we were born. We have a divine calling from God. God has called us by name and given each of us an assignment in the world. Another important lesson from the verse today is that life begins in the womb. God has already given a name to everyone from the moment of conception. This implies that in the eyes of God, life has already started and that life belongs to God. Therefore, we are not at liberty to do with it as we wish. I always ask myself, if I had been terminated, if I had been aborted in the womb, would I be here today? Why not give the same opportunity to other lives to come into the world? Have you discerned, or are you discerning your mission in the world? Are you acting according to the name that God has given you in this world? Today the Lord reminds us that we are special in his eyes, and that he remembers us and has a universal mission for each of us. Lord, you have called us by name. We are yours. May we not lose sight of the mission you have for us in the world. Amen. God bless you, and I wish you a pleasant day.